And welcome to the 123. I'm Frank, and today we have uh, this is the show that plays 30 minutes before Dynamite, and we will be talking about Dynamite. But first, it's a little bit late, and it turns out I was actually checking my recording to make sure that I'm recording Dynamite. And found out that there's a couple wrestling shows that I had already set up that I had neglected, and we're going to talk about those today. And first, we're going to talk about our superstar of the week. Joseph Yokozuna Fatu, is an American professional wrestler currently signed to WWE, where he performs primarily on the SmackDown brand. Under the ring name Solo Sikoa, he is a member of the Bloodline and former one-time NXT North American champion. Fatu is a member of the Inoue family of Samoan wrestlers. Fatu was born on March 18, 1993 in Sacramento, California, U.S. Fatu was born into the Inoue family of Samoan wrestlers, which includes his father, Rikishi, Hall of Famer, his older brothers, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, his cousin Roman Reigns, and many others, including The Rock, Umaga, Yokozuna, and the Wild Samoans. He played American football at American River College and Dickinson State University. After finishing college, Sikoa gave up football to pursue wrestling. Debuting on April 29th, 2018, Fatu would wrestle under the ring name Sefa Fatu. Fatu would regularly team up with his cousins Jacob Fatu and Journey Fatu. On August 24th, 2018, wow, weird. Sorry. Fatu teamed with his father Rikishi and cousin Vincenzo Lufe Parisi to defeat Brubaker, Gringo Loco, and Jay Bradley at the Zillow Pro 1-year anniversary show. Fatu debuted in Future Stars of Wrestling in December of 2019. And January 25th, 2019, Fatu would win the FSW Nevada State Championship, and he would hold the belt for 149 days until eventually losing to Hammerstone in June. In June of 2019, Fatu would wrestle his first match of Arizona Wrestling Federation. Fatu would defeat Watson to win the AWF heavyweight title in August of 2019. He would hold the belt for 418 days, losing it in January of 2020. In February of 2020, Fatu would defeat Carlito at Old School Championship Wrestling Generation. That's weird. You just put generation? I don't know. On August 30th of 2021, it was announced Fatu signed a contract with WWE. He was assigned to development brand WWE NXT, making his debut on October 26, 2021 at Halloween Havoc as Solo Sikoa, interrupting a segment between co-host Grayson Waller and LA Knight, and subsequently attacked Waller, thus establishing himself as a face. He entered into a feud with Boa after his alter ego attacked and choked him backstage on the December 28th episode of NXT. On January 11, 2022 episode of NXT, Boa and Sikoa fought to a double countout. This led to a no disqualification Falls Count Anywhere match on January 25th episode of NXT, which Sikoa won. During the following months, he was involved in matches for the NXT North American Championship at Stand and Deliver, a 5-way ladder match, and Spring Breakin', a triple threat match, and Spring Breakin' is actually coming up, but was unsuccessful in winning the title. On the August 2nd episode of NXT, Sikoa defeated Von Wagner in a Falls Count Anywhere match after weeks of brawling, though suffered a knee injury in the process. And as everybody knows, he's in the bloodline, and he just recently, using a Samoa Spike, cost Cody the Undisputed Championship. So we are going to discuss two. I'm gonna go with the results of. So here we are. So April 15th, we have BK Rhythm defeats Keta Kush. Candy Crush defeats Genesis. And Holly Dead and Siren, the Voodoo Doll, defeat Chantilly, Sheila, and Foxy Fierce. Princess Aussie defeats Chainsaw. And that is what happened with WoW. And MLW. Now available on Reels. We have looking for the results. It's funny, a lot of these shows don't. Here we go. So 1 week ago, we had match one, which was a dumpster match. Mance Warner versus Matt Justice versus Microman and versus Real One. The four fighters square off. Real One sizes Microman up, changes, hits the drop kick on his mighty nemesis. But Real One has clearly created no friends as both members of SGC gang up on him. Real One fights for his life, and that includes fleeing before he gets Microman isolated. But Justice cracks him in the back with a crutch. Manser opens up the dumpster as both men look to dump Real One in. But in a last-ditch effort, he grabs a trash can lid, nails both with it. He charges as Microman, who drop toe holds him head first into the lid. Microman gets fist bumped, both with Manser and Matt, as we head to commercial break. The dissection isn't done as Mance holds the legs of Real One as Justice draws Microman head first into the lower extremities of Real One. That gets a high five from old Manser to his little buddy. Let's see. And the winner of the match was Matthew Justice. And then we have back from break. A fight continues on backstage. And we continue to fight it out. Raven and some of his gas mask followers. Fusion is coming soon. However, Alex Kane will not be looking forward to the 2023 Opera Cup as he's been banned from competing after the disrespect he's shown to the historic trophy. Competition for the cup is upcoming, but Kane will only have the consolation prize of competing with Davey Boy Smith in a catch wrestling fight with no ring ropes. That match is next. So we already have two kind of strange things going here. Selma Turner caught up with Kane, who was all too pleased about knocking the teeth out of Tom Billington. You can only imagine that it's going to give DBS further incentive to make the Suplex Assassin tap or nap. No ropes catch wrestling match: Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus Alex Kane. Okay, so that's good because I was confused for a minute. These two men know one another's moves already, so well's a battle indeed. Physical chess match. Each fighter clutches the wrists of one another. It's off to the races as it's a combination of strength and mental mind games. The Philly crowd does show their Bome appreciation as Davey manages to get Kane on the ground. But the two have to reset. We go to break. So I'm guessing you can't break. So you can't break holds, and you can't do moves without ropes, right? This could be an interesting fight. That kind of thing actually has a good reason to it if you do take away the ropes. But back from it, DBS goes to cinch in an armbar, but has to kip up out of it. The two lock up again, and once again goes for the armbar, but Kane leverages it for a few pin attempts before getting dirty and gouging Davey's eyes, which causes, which looks like got in trouble. Actually getting in trouble for doing something like that. Wow. Who knows? Kane catches DBS with an exploder suplex before following up with an angle slam, but it's only good for a 2 count. He goes for Davey's ankle, but the two men keep battling in forth with their version of Ken Shamrock's submission before Davey turns it into a sharpshooter. And with no ropes, you can't break the hold. That's interesting. And the winner is Davey Boy Smith Jr. Then we have Sam Laterna catching up with Leo Rush, who hijacked Lince Dorado's middleweight gold, and the bad child takes exception to that word. This is about respect, and Dorado chose to disrespect him. Chaos is what Lince will get, and Rush accuses him of dodging him. He says that Dorado wants his belt back, catch him if he can. And the main event, Calvin Tankman versus Akira. Tankman sure has a score to settle with the calling, as he was one of the first fighters attacked by the group. Tank looks ready to roll, but Akira comes out with Raven, who looks emotionless as he grabs hold of a crowbar, and the bell rings. Akira sure shows his striking ability, but Tankman puts out an immediate stop by nailing him with the pounce that causes Akira to go out and recuperate. Back from the break, Tankman goes to get back in the ring, but Akira rips and tears the leg of Heavyweight Hustle. Death by 1,000 cuts, says Mike Stryker. This may be taking away Tank's power and game as Raven looks on, still emotionless. Tank fights on, looks to finish Akira in the corner. Raven nails Tankman with a pipe in the Achilles, allows Akira to lock in a rear naked choke that causes Tankman to tumble to the mat, and he's out cold. I'm not sure. Was that a falls count? Was that a no DQ? I don't see no DQ, but he hit him, so I don't understand how that happened. But so that was the results of Underground and the Women of Wrestling, which I was actually watching and taping and just haven't had a time to look at it. So today, I'm like doing my math here, but we'll try it. Let's go with, we'll start out with SmackDown. Yeah, so we'll go to, so SmackDown. results. And we'll do a bleaching report. So do that. And then we'll do and we'll go AEW Rampage. Actually, we'll do Rampage. Yeah, we'll do Rampage, and then we'll do SmackDown. And then we'll do Monday Nitro, Monday Night Raw. And then we'll do the card. Our card review, and that will be the show. All right, so be ready for that, and we'll talk about that. All right. Sorry about that. I'm just apparently things are going off and stuff. But okay. So first we're going to go through Rampage, and which was last week. And that was Aussie Open versus the Best Friends, Emi Sakura versus Taya Valkyrie, the Hardys versus Briscoe. Oh no, okay, we hear from the Hardys, and then it's Briscoe, Lethal, Jarrett, and Singh in action. Jack Perry versus Sean Spears, Daddy Magic, and Cool Hand Ang, and we hear from FTR. So that's cool. All right. So first we have Aussie Open versus Best Friends. IWGP tag titles are on the line. So this was in oh no, okay. So it was a little bit late on the TV. And Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis won the belts just days ago and already had to face a pair of challengers in Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor. It started out competitively, never slowed down. The challengers were able to get in a little offense. First half belonged to Aussie Open. For the most part, the newly crowned champions looked confident as they controlled the pace with a lot of double team offense. Best Friends began to put things together as the match continued. They hit a handful of high impact moves, but kept failing to get the 3 count. Once they regained the upper hand, Aussie Open hit the Corellis for the win. Then we had the 8-man tag team, which had which first FTR gave a promo about regaining the AEW tag titles and was followed by a backstage interview with the Hardys, Hook and Isaiah Cassidy, in which Matt Hardy revealed an ultimate deletion match against the Firm would take place at his compound. The second match of the night saw Briscoe reluctantly team up with Lethal Jarrett Singh for an 8-man tag team match against the Spanish Announce Project and Jake Manning. Not sure what the Spanish... I guess that must be something from... I don't know. The match started with the Jobber team getting taken out, and they never found a way to regroup. Briscoe scored the win for his team, but he did not seem happy about any of this. So it was a squash match and did more to serve the story with Lethal and Briscoe than anything else. I don't know what... There's something missing in the information there. I'm not sure. So then we had Emi Sakura versus Taya Valkyrie. Sakura has been getting a lot of screen time between ROH and AEW recently, and she stepped back into the ring this week for a match against AEW newcomer Valkyrie. Both women were looking to establish dominance right away, but it was Valkyrie who proved to be strong for her opponent. Taya Valkyrie was the winner because Cargill and Gray had attacked Valkyrie after... Oh, no. So, no, Cargill and Gray attacked Valkyrie after the match and left her laid out after being hit with Jaded. Let's see. Then we had Jack Perry versus Sean Spears. And Daddy Magic, Cool Hand Aang, and Jake Hager came out to rap for the crowd, but they ended up getting attacked by the Acclaimed. But the main event saw Spears return to competition for the first time in several months and take on Perry. Both men expressed a desire to challenge MJF for the world title in the future. They shook hands before locking up, kept it clean, and they traded holds and counters. The match got more aggressive as it went, but it never felt like Spears was trying to use the heel tactics he has for the most of his AEW career. So he's kind of turning facey, I guess. And this was easily the match of the night and gave both men a stage to showcase their abilities. They had good chemistry and made sure to do things that highlighted their strengths. Perry ended up countering a crucifix into his own pin to score the win out of nowhere. It was a clean finish, and the Perfect 10 looking a little dejected. So that was that show. Then we had the SmackDown matches. Or match, sorry. We're trying to do this in 3 minutes. It should be interesting. We won't do it in 3 minutes. You'll end up, if you end up leaving the program, that could happen. All right. Shinsuke Nakamura made his return to WWE SmackDown on Friday night on Fox, appearing for the first time since November. And the artist wasted little time reestablishing himself as a contender on the Blue brand. So it's laced between Sami Zayn and the Bloodline with Matt Riddle. The Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, kicked off the night show with a promo, which they recapped the WrestleMania win over the Usos, only to have Jimmy J and Solo Sikoa interrupt. A verbal back and forth ensued. A harmless creative that creates a six-man tag team feud alive as the company likely sets up a big trios match for Backlash pay-per-view on May 6th. Then we had Xavier Woods versus LA Knight. The rivalry between Woods and LA Knight escalated a week ago, and Friday night, they set to settle their differences in one-on-one action. Woods got the last laugh, avenging a broken PlayStation by fighting dirty and pinning his opponent with a roll-up while holding a handful of tights. Finish was clever, sure, but one has to wonder, is there an end game to this night losing streak? The guys may go over. He has the tools. Yeah, it's true. I'm surprised that they buried Knight on that one, but I guess they did. Santos Escobar versus Damian Priest. The rivalry between the LWO and the Judgment Day is arguably as hot as any of the WWE right now, as evidenced by the reaction of the showdown between Santos Escobar and Damian Priest Friday night. Let's see. Utter disdain it has for the Hill faction, a good physical match with escalation in the form of interference from teammates. Both competitors concluded with Priest picking up a tainted victory. Rey Mysterio made the save for the babyfaces afterwards and ensured his feud with his son Dominic, and the Judgment Day will continue on this road to Backlash. Priest pinned Escobar. Then we had a championship celebration, which ended with DeVille and Green sauntering into the ring, complained about their spot on the card, and were named the next challengers to the titles by the champions themselves. Then we had Nakamura versus Madcap Moss. And the winner, of course, was Nakamura defeating Moss. And then we had, as our main event, Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa. The match was a solid example of unstoppable force versus resilient babyface, but it featured one of the most mind-numbing finishes imaginable as Riddle was just seconds from winning the match, but opted to take out the Usos at ringside instead and ultimately fell prey. So therefore, Sikoa defeated Riddle. And that is what happened on SmackDown. Then the Raw results, I'm going to go through this one real fast because, well, it should be fast because it was only 4 matches, I think. And I just saw it, so I don't know. So it was a Bloodline kickoff to Raw. Then it was Rey Mysterio versus Solo Sikoa. Basically, what they had decided is that the Bloodline would take care of some of the problems with the Judgment Day, and the Judgment Day would take care of the problems of the Bloodline. So we had Sikoa defeating Rey Mysterio. Bianca Belair versus Dakota Kai. And of course, Belair defeated Kai. Then we had Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar promo, but they weren't allowed to touch each other as Adam Pearce wasn't having any of that. And they were trying to keep Cody from really saying anything. But it looks like we're going to have that match. Then we had Seth Rollins versus The Miz, which was advertised as two triple crowns going at it. The Visionary ultimately pulled off the win, but not before he and The Miz had the fans on the edge of their seats, hanging in every spot. Near fall en route to the stomp that earned Rollins the victory. We had the United States Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. And this is the best Lashley we've ever seen. And Reed is a talented heavyweight with experience competing around the world. Pairing them up and letting them beat the life out of each other is something that fans should be here for. I don't know why they're using the term Reed. Oh, okay. Rekindled the rivalry Monday night in a competitive match. The challenger appeared poised to win before Bronson Reed attacked. So Bronson Reed attacked, so there was no contest. I see. And then Trish Stratus basically said she created the women's revolution and no one else, which I'm just going to straight out say is horseshit. But, she can think that. Medium Candice LeRae versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Green has a character who will get over with time, while Deville has repeatedly proved capable of infuriating fans as one of the great hills in recent memory. During her time as a WWE official, as a team, though, the fans have no reason to buy them. But the result was Green and Deville defeated Yim and LeRae. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle versus the Judgment Day. This was the which was the main event. So clearly, the LWO put themselves in the path of the tribal chief and his family, setting up a secondary program between the factions in coming weeks. And the winner was Zayn, Owens, and Riddle defeated the Judgment Day. And that was Raw. And now we're just going to talk about the matches on the card. So we're just a little bit over time, not too bad. So the match card, it looks like is Jay White versus Commander, The Acclaim versus JAS, Powerhouse Hobb versus Wardlow, and Dr. Britt Baker and Jimmy Hayter versus Ruby Soho and Tony Storm. And maybe some other ones that aren't announced. It looks like we'll see. I think that I'm pretty sure Jay White will go over Commander. The Acclaim should go over JAS. Powerhouse Hobbs hopefully will go over Wardlow. And Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter should go over Ruby Soho and Tony Storm. But there could be a surprise. We will see. And maybe we'll have some more debuts. And that is the 1, 2, 3, folks. I am Frank. Also, hey, if you can support us on TeePublic by going to tpublic/stores/gaming-fixx, we really appreciate that. Right now, we have a tax sale. So if you go on, 35% off everything. And thank you for tuning in. And have a great day, everybody.